like NASCAR? Do you like A Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Hey, buddy, if your car making a sound like this, you might want to get you some power steering fluid and check out the Urban Conservative podcast.
Are you repulsed by the idea of drag queen story time at your local library, but enjoy Carol Baskin TikTok memes? Then you would enjoy the Urban Conservative.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description.
Can't hold me now, I'm trying to keep from staying low. Low key is over, you can't reach what you don't know. I'm moving different, running circles round them folk. They say your failures teach you everything and more. Blah.
Top of the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Addul Ali. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. I got to give a big shout out to my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, working the boards this morning behind the scenes. Make sure you're with us tonight at 8:30. Exciting times around the Urban Conservative. We have Congressman Nick LaLota joining us tonight at 8 o'clock right here on the Urban Conservative. So make sure you give us a like, give us a follow, give us a share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Jump on over to YouTube, hit us with a subscribe on our YouTube channel, TUC Twins. All right, guys, mugshot. Here's what we got for this morning. Frederick Douglass Foundation mug. Jump on over to fdfnc.org to support the Frederick Douglass Foundation. So many wonderful and amazing things going on here in North Carolina. Make sure you support the Frederick Douglass Foundation. And like I said, man, tonight, you see it on the screen, Congressman Nick LaLota, New York's 1st District Congressman, joining us live on the Urban Conservative Podcast tonight. So make sure you stick around and check that out, folks. So we're going to jump right in to today's news. And the first thing we're going to talk about is okay. So let me give y'all a little backdrop, right? I've not had, and my twin brother and I have not had the picturesque coming up that some people have. And we're not salty. We're not mad because we didn't have a mom and a dad and a white picket fence and a dog named Fido and we went to the perfect. We're not mad about that. But what we are is a little upset that when people get advantages they shouldn't have. And what I mean by that is it took me years because I didn't have parents who were like, made sure at 15, 16, I went and got a driver's license. I didn't have that, okay? But when people get to skip the line and jump ahead of the line and do things they're not supposed to get, that kind of ticks us off a little bit here. And we'll start talking about what's happening out here. Your man Gavin Newsom is back at it again in California. And this time, check this out. They are giving illegal aliens, okay? They've issued over 1 million driver's licenses to illegal aliens since 2015. The sanctuary state of California has issued them since 2015 when a new law was enacted to remove the state's legal resident requirement. And these are new figures that are published by Cal Matters, and that shows nearly 4 in 10 illegal aliens across California have obtained a driver's license to legally operate a motor vehicle since the law took effect in 2015. Now, annual data shows that when the lawsuit first took effect, nearly 400,000 illegal aliens signed up to secure driver's licenses. The following year, another 337,000. And from 2017 to 2022, close to 500,000 have sought driver's licenses in California. Likewise, hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens with driver's licenses have renewed their licenses to continue driving for years to come. From 2018 to 2020 alone, about 600,000 illegal aliens renewed their licenses. Now, here's the one of the problems that I have with this, folks, is you have American citizens who, for one reason or another, can't get a driver's license, whether that's child support, whether that's something criminal, for whatever the case may be. But you can illegally cross the border, and California will give you a driver's license. Now, that's not right. I'm just going to say it. There's no colloquially extensive way to talk about it. It's just not right. Now, here's the thing. If you're here illegally, shouldn't you have to speak English? I mean, because a lot of times if you're here illegally, you can't speak the language. I'm just saying. And then to Trump's point, on one side of it, you got this illegal alien thing, and we're giving illegal aliens, people in the country, illegally driver's license. But then when you start stepping into places, these other sanctuary states, and then you start seeing things like this. Okay, you start seeing things like this happen. And you're wondering why people like me and others are saying too much with giving these illegal aliens. We're giving them too much. Take a look at that guy right there on your screen. Okay, that guy right there is a DACA illegal alien freed by a sanctuary county who is just sentenced to life in prison for a triple murder. Okay, this is a guy who received DACA under President Obama, was freed, and then went on a killing spree. His name is Luis Perez, a 27-year-old from Mexico, was sentenced to 5 consecutive life sentences after having been found guilty of murdering 38-year-old Steve Marler, 23-year-old Josh Hampton, and a woman accused of being an accomplice to Marlon and Hampton's murder. Breitbart reported that Perez was allowed to stay in the U.S. despite his illegal alien status after receiving DACA protections in 2012 and 2014. And in late 2017, he was arrested, charged with domestic violence in Middlesex County, New Jersey. ICE asked for custody. The jurisdiction sanctuary policy ensured he was released back into the community to commit murder. But let's go ahead and give these illegals driver's licenses. Let's go ahead and let them vote. Hell, why don't we just give them constitutional protection? Why don't we wave our magic wand and just say everybody's a citizen now? Matter of fact, nobody's a citizen, free for all. Let's just let everybody do what they want to do. Forget the rules that the state legislatures put in place. Forget the safety of the citizens. Forget the folks who came here to this country and did it the right way. Shouts out to everybody who immigrated and went through the proper immigration channels and raised their right hand and took an oath to be an American citizen, not just in name only, but an actual American citizen. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, California. It's so many brothers I know right now that can't get licenses because of child support, which is a wild thing. So if you can't drive, you can't get a job. So how do you, a whole different can of worms. I don't even want to open that. But we're going to take a quick commercial break right here on Top of the Morning. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. We're going to take about a 1 minute. We'll be right back.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com.
This episode of The Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description.
All right, folks, welcome back to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Addul Ali. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. Go ahead and hit us with a like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you like what we do here at The Urban Conservative and you want to support us, jump on over to tuconservative.com. Click on that button that says sponsor an episode. We'd love to have your support. If you're a small business, growing business, we can help you reach thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So thanks again to our underwriters, our supporters. We appreciate the love and support. Next story we're going to cover this morning. I don't know. I didn't think the guy was still lingering around. But I think we're going to have, before I do that, February 13th, you're going to want to be here for the Urban Conservative podcast again. We got Professor Nicholas Giordano, host of the PAS Report, coming on. You've seen him on Fox News. You've seen him on MSNBC. Great podcast. Check out the PAS Report when you get a chance. Awesome dude. Shouts out to Professor Giordano. Looking forward to hosting him back on the platform on February 13th, 8 p.m., right here for the Urban Conservative. Now, I thought Colin Kaepernick was like figuring something else out. Like, I didn't know this dude was still like doing stuff, but apparently he's not done, folks. The good old Colin Kaepernick. I call him the Colin because he's full of, but he's back. He's back in the limelight. He's back in the news now because he's got a new documentary film. And get this, guess what it's called? It's produced by Disney. It's a Hulu docuseries. They shot it in Kevin McCarthy's district. No politics here. Former NFL star Colin Kaepernick trashing law enforcement. This time in his Disney-produced Hulu docuseries. Disney just is a glutton for punishment. They just don't know when to quit. It's called Killing County, which is set to debut February 3rd. Takes a close look at the city of Bakersfield, focusing on crime as well as officer-involved killings. Now, one thing I'd be interested to know about Bakersfield, and I'm sure we can find the data here, is if there are more shootings done by police or more shootings done by the public. I'd wonder who the victims of crime there are in Bakersfield, California. In this new release trailer, Kaepernick describes the docuseries as one of the most powerful projects he's ever been involved with, later adding in a tweet that it is a true crime thriller set in Kevin McCarthy's district. I have the actual video here. I don't know if I play it though, bro. Should you, Rod, just check in. Let me know. Do I play this? Do I actually play this? Do y'all want to see this? I'll play it. You know what? I'm gonna play it. Here we go.
Play the video. No audio.
All right.
No audio.
All right, I got it. I'm playing it right now. Here you go.
This is one of the most powerful projects I've ever been involved with.
911, what is your emergency?
I'm hearing all kinds of gunshots down the street from my house.
I had never known Bakersfield to be a violent place. That changed pretty quickly.
I came here looking for something.
I knew the homicide rate in Bakersfield was high. I didn't really know what that meant until I got here.
I'm not trying to be nobody.
2 people are dead and a BPD officer is in the hospital following an early morning shooting at a Southwest Bakersfield hotel.
My son died in a shootout.
F this, I'm calling the cops on the cops.
Walk the streets, Bakersfield.
The deadliest law enforcement in the country per capita.
The highest rate of officer-involved deaths anywhere in the country.
This is where the story takes a very bizarre turn.
And as you start unraveling the layers, you start to see that there's more than just a couple bad officers.
He had collected drugs and then sold for his own gain.
I was wrong, and I admit that today.
One side, a celebrated character in a movie, and then a disgraced officer.
I began to not only bend the rules, I began to cross the line.
How many of you that sit and judge me?
You don't have to experience what I experienced to really understand that there's a problem here.
The man is dead. These cops have no reason to do this to this man.
They're not supposed to be judge, jury, and executioner.
I never thought in my wildest dream that it was my son laying there in the sidewalk, murdered.
My brother was an amazing person. He was so full of life. He had amazing kids, and
Police department killed my dad.
They shot my son 7 times.
Well, who holds these people accountable? Guess what? They met their match.
Okay, folks. All right. This is it. I don't even know where to start. First and foremost, let me say this. We here at the Urban Conservative, we support our law enforcement, and we will stand shoulder to shoulder against anybody, with anybody when police are in the wrong. When things are wrong, they're wrong, and they're just wrong, and that's that. We're not saying that every cop is 100% perfect and every, circumstances the cops were right every single time. However, I guarantee you, the victims of the crimes that people were perpetrating will tell you a different story about what's occurring in places like this. To make it seem like the entire police department is jacked up, there's no officers there. We're going to cover some more of this since we started talking about it. We'll look into this, but what you got to understand is this. 99% of the police officers out there, and even in Bakersfield, I dare say, they have two things in mind. First thing is they want to make it home at the end of their shift. They want to get back to their loved ones. And the second thing is they want to protect and serve the people of the communities that they work in. That is most of the police officers. So for Colin Kaepernick to paint this whole entire police department with a broad paintbrush, to say that there is a systemic issue there, we're going to have to look into it some more. But Colin Kaepernick is doing nothing here but fanning the flames that got him into the position he was in the first place. It's absolutely nuts. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, Rob, what do we got here? What did you pull up here, bro? What are we looking at here? Okay, there we go. With the crime rate of 48 per 1,000 residents, Bakersfield has one of the highest crime rates in America compared with all communities of all sizes, from the smallest towns to the very largest ones. One's chance of becoming a victim of either violent or property crime here is 1 in 21. Hold on. Stop right there. Don't nobody say nothing. Let me get this straight. If I'm in Bakersfield, California, with 23 other people, one of us finna get got, is what that sounds like. What that sounds like is if you're in Bakersfield with 30 people, one of y'all's gonna get it. Y'all getting robbed, you're getting something broken in. These are the facts. These are the numbers. Your chances of becoming a victim of a violent crime is 1 in 203 in Bakersfield, 1 in 227 in California. Man, that means you better not go nowhere where there's more than 250 people. Chances are you finna get it. One of y'all finna get it. Let's talk about this. Murders. Wow. So here's what you got, bro. Before we go to our next break. Colin Kaepernick is doing nothing more than fanning the flames, trying to keep himself relevant, in my opinion, right? Trying to keep himself somehow in the mix of this social justice crap. I had a conversation with my son the other day. He said, Dad, with social justice, and I said, nah, son, we don't need social justice. We need regular, plain, run-of-the-mill, no need to put a modifier on it, justice. You don't got to modify. We don't need environmental justice, reproductive justice, social justice. Plain old regular justice will do the trick. And when we look at Bakersfield, hold on. Let's look at this real quick. I'm going to make this big so I can see this. Hold on. Wow. Look at that. 51% Hispanic or Latino, 31% white, 7% Asian, 7% black. So it's got one of the highest crime rates in the country per capita, right? Which means it probably has more police interactions than most places, which means you have more people calling the police. Here's a question. How come nobody's making a Bakersfield? Hold on, go back to that, bro. Bakersfield, crimes per square mile 135 crimes per square mile. That's higher than California's average. So what that tells me is Kaepernick and them are doing nothing but feeding off these people's pain, these people's hurt, these people's loss of loved ones. It is absolutely disgusting to see what they've done with this movie. I'm not going to give it a watch. I'm mad that we even played the thing. But the only other thing I'm going to say is this. Colin Kaepernick is the biggest hypocrite on the planet. He's so mad at white folk, but it was white folk who adopted him and gave him the life that he has, which is weird to me. It's totally weird. But we're going to take a quick commercial break right here on Top of the Morning. We've got one more segment to go on the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Addul Ali. Oh, man. It's been a great morning so far, folks. I've got my handy-dandy Frederick Douglass Foundation mug. Shouts out to Clarence Henderson and Shamika Bethia, Tansy, and the whole team over at the Frederick Douglass Foundation in North Carolina. If you haven't gotten them already, get your tickets to the Frederick Douglass Lincoln Debate Dinner and One-Act Play. It is going down February 25th at Sophie's Bar and Grill in Raleigh. You can get your tickets by going to DouglasDebateWake.eventbrite.com. That is DouglasDebateWake.eventbrite.com. Make sure you join us tonight at 8 p.m. We have Congressman Nick LaLota out of New York's 1st Congressional District joining us tonight. We're going to talk energy. We're going to talk veterans. We're going to talk border security. Make sure you join us tonight, 8 p.m., for Congressman Nick LaLota, New York's 1st Congressional District. He is no stranger to the show. We're looking forward to having him back on. And again, on February the 13th, we have got Dr. Nicholas Giordano, Professor Giordano from the PAS Report, joining us on the Urban Conservative each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. So I've got this story that I want to cover real quick. And yeah, you can flash up the Giordano thing real quick. You just flashed him up real quick. So doctor in Raleigh, okay, and I did some research on this doctor in Raleigh. So you know that there are folks out there who will just do anything to make some money, okay? And the interesting thing about this is doctors are supposed to be people that we put our confidence and our trust and our faith in. And, these are some people we're supposed to actually feel safe going to. Well, not this doctor at all. And I'm only going to cover this real quick. But this doctor in Raleigh actually got found guilty. Doctors found guilty of reusing. A doctor in Raleigh was found guilty of reusing unsanitary equipment meant for one-time use on unsuspecting patients during surgeries. This is from the Justice Department. The U.S. Attorney's Office said Anita Louise Jackson was also convicted on charges of adulterating medical devices for use on patients with the intent to defraud and mislead, fabricating medical and healthcare records, paying illegal remunerations, mail fraud, and conspiracy. Jackson, who operated the Greater Carolina Ear, Nose, and Throat Office in Raleigh, Lumberton, and Rockingham, was convicted on 20 counts after a 3-week federal jury trial. Authorities say she used... Oh, God, I'm about to throw up. Authorities says she used equipment to perform balloon sinuplasty in an office surgery to treat chronic sinusitis during more than 1,400 surgeries for Medicare patients. All right, I'm going to stop right there because I did some digging on this lady. Turns out she's a Democrat. And it sounds like something the Democrat would do. Let me figure out a way to work the system some more. I don't care nothing about the people I'm seeing. I know I just shoved this thing up somebody else's nose, but I'm going to wipe it down with an alcohol wipe and shove it up somebody else's nose. Why don't I? Absolutely disgusting. I hope they throw that lady under the jail because that's gross. That's just absolutely disgusting. That's nasty. That's just nasty. Somebody just sent me a text. It said, look, that lady, they said, I've been to that lady's office before. So this is the lady, Louise Jackson. You did all that medical school. You put all that time in for nothing. To do that nastiness, okay? To shove something up one person's nose and put it up in another, Okay, so she's guilty. She going to jail. Good on them. No special treatment for her. Take her butt under the jail for doing that nastiness. That's disgusting.
Where is the NAACP on this?
Where is the NAA? That's a great question, bro.
Where's BLM on this?
Where shouldn't, because I'm sure she had black patients. Don't we care about the black patients? Like, what happened here? No BLM, no Black Lives Matter, no NAACP, no riots in front of her office.
Coverage at all.
No, very little, slim to no news coverage at all on this. But I'll tell you something, folks. We're going to cover it here on Top of the Morning and on the Urban Conservative. Do you want to take a commercial break before I hit this last segment? Because we're going to touch on Rocky Mount before we get out of here. You want to take one more 30-second break? Nope. Okay. So there's one more thing we're going to cover this morning, folks, and that has to do with our good friends down in Rocky Mount. Okay. Over the weekend, Saturday, another shooting in Rocky Mount. Okay. And here's the reason why I want to bring this up. Here's the reason why I want to bring this up is when you have politicians who have been serving at a local level for over 20 years. One of them been on city council since 2000. The other one been on the city council there in Rocky Mount since 2003. Okay. When you talk about the crime in your community, you talk about the failing schools in your community, you talk about the lack of jobs in your community, you talk about the lack of economic development, you talk about the lack of partnership between the county, the city, and the school district, you talk about the uneasiness of the citizens that you represent, you talk about the failure that occurs, and you want to blame it on racism, okay? You want to blame Beth Wood for being a racist on her and Dale Falwell uncovering the foolishness that is the government, city government there in Rocky Mount. But yet a young person gets shot and killed. Where's BLM marching in the streets in Rocky Mount? Why is the NAACP quiet on this? Here's my other question. If you, Mr. Knight, and you, Mr. Blackwell, have been on city council there for 20 years, don't you own the failure? Aren't you part and parcel of the problem that is the failures there? When are you going to admit that you own the failure, that you are responsible for the failure that's occurring in your city? This 13-year-old kid minding his business gets shot in your city. More crime is on the rise, jobs are on the decline, people are losing confidence hand over fist in their city government, but y'all have been there for 20 years and have the nerve to want to blame some of this stuff on racism. Where was racism at when you got elected? Let me ask that question. Where's racism at the last 5 times you've been elected? Because you've been on city council for how long now? 20 plus years? Well, I'll tell you something. Y'all have lit a fire under the people in Rocky Mount, and more people are starting to see and being willing to expose what's happening there. In so much as you have sitting elected officials digging into the cookie jar. Let's not talk about who owns what property and who wants to get the property bought from the city. Let's not talk about what city council people sit on the boards. Let's not talk about the city council $17,000 these city council people get down there in Rocky Mount. That is more than a state legislator gets paid. How many of y'all know that a state senator, a state house rep only gets 13 grand a year, but y'all people down in Rocky Mount are giving $17,000 a year? Interesting, isn't it? So our heart, our thoughts, and our prayers go out to the family of the young man that was shot on Saturday there in Rocky Mount. We have got some amazing things coming up. We're going to probably do a TUC doc series on it, but we got that in the works. But again, folks, each and every morning right here, 8 a.m., top of the morning, here on the Urban Conservative, make sure you join us tonight at 8 p.m. We have Congressman Nick LaLota from New York's 1st Congressional District going to be joining us here on the Urban Conservative. Again, we're going to be talking energy policy. We're going to be talking border security. Major thing we're going to be talking about is what Congress plans on doing to improve life for our veterans. So again, tonight, 8 p.m., right here on the Urban Conservative. Check us out live for the Urban Conservative podcast. This has been Top of the Morning, the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. We will see you guys tonight at 8 p.m. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you tonight.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.